Hello there, kids. Welcome to Just Ask Jade, the show where you can ask a drag queen anything. Hey, kids. I have a friend. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Fanci Dismount Stratton from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I've been doing drag now for, well, if we talk about the first time I got in drag, it's been 15 years-ish. But professionally since 2011, so almost 10 years.
Fantastic. Fanci is also an incredible jeweler. I'm wearing some Fancy by Design today. Oh, what? I couldn't hear you.
Sorry, what? Yeah.
I also have to give a shout out to Alchemy Wigs, who did my hair. I love this wig. She's big, she's fun, she's fabulous. Yeah. Who did your hair?
My hair is done by Miss Kenra Lynn of Philadelphia.
Love her.
Yeah, it's a subtle, Joan Crawford Jew.
Exactly. So I always like leading with this question just because it's a little shady and a little fun. What was your first impression of me?
Oh my, well, let's see. So I met Jade, I'm trying to think the first time I met you, it probably would have been one of the pageants, I guess, at Stallions. Mm-hmm. So it would have been out in Harrisburg. I don't remember the exact first time, but generally the first impression was like, okay, like, she a campy girl, like, she can do it up a little bit. And then I realized you were a theater girl, and I was like, okay, yeah, she'll do. Like, we can kiki with this queen. And then, of course, very early on in our relationship, we competed against each other in a pageant.
True.
And she beat me, and I, of course, hated her. Not really.
But, She's hated me ever since.
That was literally, actually, that was one of the first, like, legit memories I have of you, was when we, because I didn't know we knew each other by then. But, like, we actually.
Like, we knew of each other.
Yeah. We actually got to, like, hang out because we, like, painted there and got ready, like, together. So, like, that was actually, like, the first kiki, we'll say.
Yeah, first time we really got to hang out and chill. My answer is the same. Like, I knew of you, but I never really got to know you until the pageant. And we were just having the best time.
And actually, okay, so funny story, and I hope I'm not giving away too many of your beauty tips. One of the things I remember from watching you paint was some trick you had learned from, I forget who.
The spoon?
Yes, the spoon. For y'all that don't know, she literally takes a spoon to cut her crease. And I was like, that is so smart.
I saw it on a YouTube channel and I was just like, this is brilliant. Right? Ironically, I didn't do it today, but this is makeup on top of makeup because I've done a few faces already today.
Trust me, this is a brand new face. I've never done a face like this before in my life.
It looks fabulous.
Thank you. I mean, I always look like I got attacked by a box of Crayola. That's a different story. But for this, like, for those of you that can't tell, she got rid of her brows. They're gone. I'm not good at gluing them down. I don't glue them down. Normally, I just do a smoky eye. So this is the first time I've, done a legit color eye with no black in it at all.
I love it.
Thank you.
So, I got some questions in my email. And the first question, I'm going to let you answer first.
All right.
Would you ever go on RuPaul's Drag Race? I think you'd go far and be quite amazing.
Was that directed literally at me?
It was actually directed at me, but,
So, would I? Yes. Obviously, if I had the opportunity, absolutely. I've never actually auditioned. I've gotten the application a few times. Like, I filled out the initial application, which is just basic info. And gotten the video requirements. But it just seems like they always send the video requirements at the worst times. Like the last season, it was right around Christmas. And I'm like, you want me to film this big old audition video on top of Christmas and Christmas shows and family obligations? I was like, no, baby, I can't do that. But someday I would love to audition. And if I made it on, yes, I would absolutely love to be on. Because, I'm a performer by trade. I went to school for arts administration. I've been in the theater my whole life. So yeah, I mean, it's really the top tier or the top, level of our industry. So yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Same thing. I've auditioned 6 times. This year I was actually getting my audition tape ready and I just hit a point where I was like, nope, I'm taking a year off.
Yeah.
I was stressed out. I had so much other stuff going on that I was like, I need to focus on me right now.
And for those of you queens or aspiring queens or just fans out there that think it's just so easy, the video is very in-depth. Like, they ask you for a lot, girl.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and as of, I forget which season, a few seasons ago, they added a new rule where you can't use any content from previous auditions. So for somebody like Jade, who's auditioned multiple times, you have to come up with new looks, new answers to everything, new
Snatch Game characters.
Yeah, everything has to be brand new every time. So some of your best stuff you've already used. It's insane. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work. Would I love to be on the show? Absolutely, but I can wait.
Hello.
All right, next question.
Yeah.
Whilst it is frustrating that we are all stuck inside, what have you done to pass the time? This one specifically for me, but we'll say this for your roommate. What is your favorite meal to make, and what's your favorite meal your hubby or roommate makes?
Okay. What I've done to pass the time, I mean, girl, everything. I've done some, I've gotten drag, done some live shows, stuff like that. I have cleaned and organized and sorted like it's my job. We literally went through our basement, and between my roommate is Emily Valentine, who's also a drag queen. So between the two of us, we've got drag everywhere. So we've organized that. As far as fun, it is funny. Since COVID has started, I've definitely I have reconnected with my cooking oats, so to speak.
Oh.
Right. I mean, I always loved to cook. It's just, life gets crazy, and it's just easier to throw something in a microwave.
So true.
Yeah, but I literally pulled up my crock pot and started. I mean, the thing that I've been really trying to perfect is my grandmother's chicken and dumplings recipe.
Ooh.
Yes, they're very tasty, but I haven't quite gotten the dumplings just right yet. But we're still trying.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Speaking of our grandmothers, I've been trying to recreate some dishes from when I was little, and I grew up with my grandmother. I figured out her fried potatoes. The next thing is a chicken and stuffing casserole.
Oh my God, that sounds so good.
Right? So yeah, that's the goal. My favorite thing my husband makes, burgers. I love burgers.
He can make those when COVID's over. He can barbecue for all of us.
Oh, that'd be fun. Good old drag barbecue.
Barbecue.
You and your crazy kids.
Oh, well, if I must bring them.
Well, I mean, no. And let's see, I have one more question.
Yeah.
Wow. If there was an alien invasion and you could hide somewhere, where would you go?
Well, that's a fun question.
Right?
I'm trying to think of a good. Well, okay, so don't go anywhere near cornfields. Apparently, aliens love cornfields.
Accurate.
I would probably go to I think I would be good. I'm here in Philadelphia, so I don't think Philadelphia has ever been attacked by aliens in a movie yet.
True.
Usually,
it's one of those big cities that's not on the radar.
Right. Like most alien movies are in the middle of nowhere, like Midwest or in the South in a cornfield. Now so what was it? War of the Worlds? It was the one remake with Tom Cruise.
War of the Worlds.
Yes. I got very upset during that movie, and here's why. So the initial attack happened in New York City. Well, in Jersey, actually. And there's a scene right in the beginning when the aliens first attack, and they blow up the Bayonne Bridge. Now, the Bayonne Bridge is nothing, but I went to school in Staten Island, New York. And sure enough, the Bayonne Bridge was where we used to travel. That was where we always crossed to go to New Jersey to get our beverages and things, at a cheaper discount.
Exactly.
And it was very traumatizing watching. I mean, I know it was the movie, but still watching my bridge get blown up. And I'm definitely not going to New York if we get attacked. They're very.
Well, and it's such a big city. It's got to be a target for something.
Well, it has been many times, and with all this craziness, it was the center of COVID.
Yeah. For me, we'd probably go and hide up at my mother-in-law's house out in the woods. someplace where no one will go.
Hello.
And if people do go there, it would take them a while to get there. Yeah, that's it. Have to go and check on my grandmother first, though. Yeah, take care of the family.
Absolutely.
So do you have any questions for me?
Oh, of course I do. I love questions.
Oh, good.
I'll start easy because I'm nice. So I actually don't know the answer to this. So what was the very first drag number you ever did, and where was that?
I performed Somebody to Love from the musical We Will Rock You, which is a musical that's all the music of Queen. It was at Stallions, and it was during the second night of Amateur Drag Race Harrisburg. This was like 10 years ago now.
Yes, Amateur Drag Race Harrisburg. God, the last cycle they did of that was how many years ago? It's been a few.
It's been about 3 or 4 years now.
You know how time flies.
They did an all-star season, and it just kind of disappeared. I've heard rumblings that they want to bring something similar back, but it's going to be revamped. I think it'll be good. I enjoyed coaching for it. I'm not big on competition, but I would love to help out, help people grow and learn. That's why I created this channel. Yeah, that was it. What was yours?
Oh, God. So here we go. I never intended on being a drag queen. It wasn't a thing where, I'm not like most queens that sat down and were like, I want to get in drag, and no. I did it in college for fun, for like theater benefits. We would do like gender bender, like cabaret things and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I got in drag.
Because you were a jock.
Right. For those.
She was a football player.
Yes, for many years I was a D1 prospect for football in high school, and then gave it all up for the theater. Well, that's a whole nother story. But in college, like I said, like for theater parties or things, to be outrageous and ridiculous, I would get in crazy drag. Usually impersonating somebody from my department or something like that. So then after college, I got rid of all the drag I had, thinking I'd never do it again. And then I started DJing for a gay bar in Norristown, the Beagle Tavern, God rest its soul, closed a few years ago. So I started DJing there. That was my first dip into working in, the gay community. Mm-hmm. And I just DJ'd the drag shows and that kind of thing, no big deal. So for Halloween the one year, I was like, well, let me go in drag. That'll be a funny, haha, kind of ridiculous costume. People don't never seen me in drag. So it snowed that year, 2011. It snowed on Halloween.
Ooh.
So 3 of the queens couldn't make it because of the weather. And the host was like, hey, girl, since you're dressed for the occasion. And I was like, no, that's not happening. And sure enough, they were like, no, we need an extra queen. So here I am, one outfit, don't know what and they're just like, pick 2 numbers. So I'm like, okay. So the numbers I did were, Sparkling Diamonds from the movie version of Moulin Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did Bette Midler's In These Shoes.
Ah!
I've been an old queen since before I was a drag queen. And
that is so classic, though.
Right? and I did the 2 numbers thinking, let me just get through this. It'll be over. After the show, the host looked at me and said, oh, you're in all my shows from now on. And then the owner who was there, pulled me aside and said, oh, that karaoke gig that you're starting in 2 weeks, you're hosting that in drag.
Ah!
I was like, oh. So overnight, I had a weekly and a monthly show that I was in. And I had no wardrobe. My first, besides the outfit I put together, the first time I hosted karaoke, in drag, I wore my mother's dress that I stole from her that she had no idea.
Ah!
And it was a very mother of the bride. She wore it to a wedding, literally.
That's beautiful.
It was a hoot and a holler. And look at me now.
Now she's a star, mama, a star.
She's something, all right.
I love that. That's an amazing story.
There's another really good story about how I got my drag name, but we can't talk about that on air because it's not the most PG.
Well, you always stick the landing.
It's true. So if you ever see me out in public or at a show, feel free to ask. I'll tell you in person.
Awesome. Do you have any more questions for me?
Well, there's a good question because I don't know that about how did Jade DeVere, where did that name come from?
Well, Jade goes with my eyes. For
Huh?
those who don't know, I do have green eyes. I've always loved the color green. DeVere is actually the last name of Edward DeVere, the 17th Earl of Oxford, who supposedly wrote everything that Shakespeare did.
All right, look at you get all historical on us. I like
Right?
that.
I played Edward DeVere at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair back in 1999, and the name kind of stuck.
All right. Okay, so I have a confession to make.
Yeah,
Don't get mad at me.
I won't.
Ooh, I've never been to a Renaissance fair.
How?
Um, you know, I just life's always so busy and crazy, and it's like every time it comes up, and I know people that are going, they're like, "Oh, you should come," and I'm like, "I would love to, but I have a show
Work.
that day." Yeah, it's like I have a show that day.
It's the downside of being a performer. We're working every weekend.
Yeah, we don't get like, and we're working when everybody else is doing their shows, so it's like you rarely get to go support other entertainers and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, I've been to things like I've been to like oh, what's the thing with the horses and the
Medieval times.
yes, I've been to medieval times and things like that a couple times. So that's ish Renaissance fair ish.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never been to it, like, and I would love, like, because I love that era and that, like, the style, and like I would love to go and drink mead and eat, you know, a big old honkin' chicken leg or something. You know, and like, but of course I would just be jealous because I'd want to wear all the, you know, the royal garb and things.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I it's funny. I never thought of myself as becoming a Ren Fair person until I started working in Ren Fairs, and I loved it. I love interactive theater.
so I don't know if you've heard about it yet, but since you're a Ren Fair girl, you will love this. Have you heard about the new musical Six?
Yes, I just downloaded it yesterday.
It is, so if y'all have not heard of it yet, Google it, YouTube it, find it. And I in all this research I've done about it, I didn't realize they were set to make, they were actually making their Broadway debut the night Broadway shut down for COVID.
Yep.
Like, and apparently they didn't get the word until like 5 o'clock. So, like, I'm sure most of the girls were already at the theater.
At the theater, getting their hair pinned down.
So it's like you're getting ready to, like, for your open, and all the girls, from what I understand, it's their Broadway debut. So like,
Oh, really?
yeah, so like you're opening this brand new show where, you know, it's your Broadway debut, all that, and it gets and not just postponed for like a night, it's like canceled until further notice.
Yeah.
So like I've been following all the girls on their social medias, and they've all been doing little, you know, little things, and it's so much fun. But the show itself, it is about the six wives of Henry VIII.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very like female empowerment, like them telling their story. It's amazing. So check.
It's very
it
Spice
out.
Girls.
Yeah, literally, it's like somebody took like the concept of Hamilton, you know, with the historical, making it poppy, then took the format of like Altar Boys, if you've seen that show, and just turned it into the Spice Girls.
Oh yeah.
But ingenious. And I, in my research, I found out the two people that wrote it were like college. They were in college when they wrote it.
Oh yeah, like all of the big shows are not being written by like people who have lived a while. They're like these up and coming people, and it's great.
Yeah, and it was a guy and a girl. They said they were college age, and it was so funny because I watched an interview with them. Apparently, when it was in the West End, they were having problems with, you know, girls getting sick and injured and all this stuff, and they were like nervous that they were going to run it like, you know, they were out of girls. So like the backup contingency plan, God forbid something went wrong, was that the male writer was going to go in for one of the roles.
Ah!
And they were all just like, oh, haha, that's funny. That'll never happen. And literally like 5 days later, he got a phone call in the middle of the afternoon and was like, you want to do 2 shows? Because we're down a girl.
Oh.
And yeah, so there's some footage where he actually had to go on. And I mean, people in the audience had no clue. So all of a sudden, like, here comes the 5th, or he played the 6th queen, Catherine Parr. And he was like, oh, it's up. Oh, hey. And he didn't really do drag per se. Like, he was in heels in the outfit, but he was a full boy, and he rocked it. I was like, okay, honey, you better do it.
I love stuff like that. I just saw that the Royal completely that The Royal Shakespeare Company has been doing productions. They did 12th Night with an all-male cast, and it was fantastic. I just saw clips of Hamlet. It was gender-blind casting. Like Hamlet is a woman, Ophelia is played by a man. They don't change their pronouns at all, but, you know, Ophelia's a man, no wig or anything, but still dressed as a noblewoman.
Yes.
It's very clever. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, because I mean, stuff like that, just those simple little changes can totally change a storyline.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because, but you have to be careful with it because when I was in college, my college used to do at least one classical piece of, you know, theater a year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was usually Shakespeare, something along those lines. Like I did Learned Ladies by Moliere. And then, you know, it's all about like kind of women's lib and like women becoming educated and taking their stand. So they set it in the 60s, which totally made sense. Like that was a time of women's lib instead of the French Revolution. And it was so much fun, you know, the costuming and all that stuff. But then we did Shakespeare one year and there was like 15 concepts mushed into one. Yeah, it was everything from like futuristic, gothy kind of costuming for like one group of people. The other group was like, I don't even know, like space age alien. And then Romeo and Juliet looked like they walked out of the Gap. I was like,
choices.
Yeah, but like, and then they didn't change. Like the script was just as is, and they performed it Shakespearean like, just with funky costuming. I was like, choices.
Yeah,
choices.
Well, Fanci, I hope you had a lot of fun joining me.
I did. It was so much fun. My first Just Ask Jade. I love that.
It won't be your last.
Yeah.
Now that I know I can do this over Zoom.
Tricks.
Well, kids, if you have any questions for me, you could always send them through my website, which is www.jadedevere.com, or you could email me directly at ijustaskjade@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Say goodnight, kids.
Good night, kids.
Wash your hands.
Yes.